favorites for over 40 years.
Now on Primetime, the latest on local war claims, including how the Guam Bar Association is stepping up to help claimants. Plus, with the closure of the Agana pool, an oversight hearing with Parks and Rec has been scheduled to address long-standing issues. And we'll tell you which agency head recently signed off on $21,000 in raises.
Today and good evening, Guam. Guahusi Chris Barnett, and our top story, good news. As late today, a press release from Adelut was issued regarding a presentation tomorrow honoring our war survivors. It's during this time that the governor and lieutenant governor are set to recognize the first dozen adjudicated claimants who cleared with U.S. Treasury and will be presented their war claims checks. The claimants were all notified by the governor's office and are set to attend. Meanwhile, in related news, Congressman Michael St. is attacking the local war claims process on Facebook. Here's more on the latest FB drama with our delegate. Congressman Michael St. at it again, taking to Facebook to criticize the local war claims effort. Our delegate has posted about the local claims 3 times on his campaign Facebook page recently, saying he is, quote, unable to expedite local war claims, writing about his office, saying, quote, we have no ability to expedite war claims processing, and the governor knows this. Each post from our delegate saying he can't help with any local claims effort, accusing the administration of misleading people, and again touting his H.R. 1365. While St. had told senators last year his measure would pass by November, he then said it may pass by the end of January, and in a Facebook post he now says he, quote, anticipates passage pending the conclusion of impeachment proceedings. St. had said an objection to 1365 was related to the local claims bill, but he never offered any evidence or clarification about this claim. He did not respond to KUAM's request for information on the objections, but former Congressman Robert Underwood was in Washington, D.C. this month, and he said the objection came from Senate Republicans and had nothing to do with the local war claims program. St. also claimed the administration was passing out, quote, slips of paper to constituents they are unable to help, telling them to contact Congressman St. Our delegate alleging this was being done at the Claims Center in Tamuning. The delegate continued bashing the administration, saying, quote, it's actually pretty incredible that they are so willing to mislead the people in order to plow forward and save face, rather than just be honest and admit their process didn't include everyone. Meanwhile, Adelut responded to St. Facebook rants by saying, quote, the congressman's claim is untrue. The governor's office also clarified that they only gave out the delegate's public contact information because Manamku wanted to get a hold of him. A release from Adelut saying, it is true, however, that many of our Manamku missed the federal deadline to file a claim under the World War II Loyalty Recognition Act. Reopening that window requires an act of Congress, and survivors and their families have asked us how to contact the delegate's office. The statement from Adelut Policy Director Carlo Branch adds, the slips of paper referred to by the delegate have both his and Speaker Munya Barnes' contact information. Meanwhile, KUAM confirms Delegate St. was on island briefly for a birthday fundraiser for his re-election campaign over the weekend. Meanwhile, the Guam Bar Association is stepping up to help war claimants. Lawyer volunteers will be available at the War Claims Processing Center in Tamuning starting tomorrow to provide free legal advice for certain people regarding their claims. Bar member and attorney Jay Ariola explains.
What we'll be doing is having at least a few lawyers every day from 9 to 11 a.m. so long as this center remains open, providing counsel and advice to heirs of deceased claimants who have their appropriate information and giving them the necessary affidavits to fill out and sign and have notarized, submitted here to the processing center, and put them in line to receive their claim payable to the estate of the deceased claimant.
Surviving heirs will need to bring the following: valid government ID or a passport, the claim or decision letter from the Foreign Claims Settlement Commission, the death certificate of the claimant, a list of names and birth dates of all heirs of the deceased claimant, and a copy of the claimant's last will, if any. An arrest has been made and the investigation continues into the death of Luciana Pauly that occurred on Saturday evening in Mongmong Totu Maiti. KUAM's Adriana Coteros sits down with the village mayor, who shares an important message: coming together as a community, especially in a day and age when Guam is facing major crimes.
It takes a community effort. If we all work together in our neighborhood watch and with the assistance of GPD, I think we can solve these problems that are occurring in our community.
As it was just days ago when Mong Mong Totu Mighty Mayor Rudy Paco received a message from his neighborhood watch group that there was a lifeless woman discovered by 4 neighborhood children who were riding their bicycles along Ramirez Way.
Right now it's a good place to ride the bicycle because there's no traffic at all. And apparently that's where they stumbled into the victim. This is one of the first incidents we have ever encountered here in our community.
Mayor Paco confirms the area is a private area and that when an investor purchased property further down the street, the property owner blocked the entire way off, as it's one of the illegal dumping sites.
Since we blocked that thing off, we put boulders to block the entrance. A lot of the FSM hang around there and drink their alcohol.
According to the village leader, the victim, 37-year-old Luciana Polly, and suspect 25-year-old Katner Harry are not from MTM.
To my understanding, Luciana Polly is homeless and she's normally down there by the Agana pool area.
This is information Mayor Paco says he received from a source related to Polly. However, he could not disclose whom. As for Katner Harry, the MTM mayor's office checked their records and he is also not registered in their village. Yesterday, Harry appeared before Magistrates Judge Jonathan Kwan. He faces murder as a first-degree felony and aggravated assault as a second-degree felony. According to the court documents, Katner admitted that he killed Polly. A cash bail was set at $100,000. Mayor Paco expresses his condolences to the victim's family and echoes this message to all of Guam.
It takes a community effort to build a solid foundation because I can't build that foundation by myself. It takes the community effort to build that foundation.
Harry will appear back in court on February 6th for a preliminary hearing. This is the first arrest made in connection to Polly's death that is still under investigation and await autopsy results. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
The 2 men accused for their role in the murder of Keith Castro were granted separate cases today. Joshua Palacios was charged with murder for fatally shooting Castro, and Tomas Taitano was charged with aggravated assault for beating Castro with a metal baton. Palacios' attorney, Terrence Timlin, filed a motion to sever. The government did not object, and that motion was granted. Taitano's attorney, William Pohl, also motioned for his client to have 2 separate trials for his charges. In addition to the aggravated assault charges, Taitano was indicted for criminal mischief with a motor vehicle and eluding a police officer. Judge Vern Perez scheduled a return for February 20th. 27-year-old DEPCOR officer Charles Pangilinan pleads guilty to assault as a misdemeanor for inappropriately touching a teenage girl known to him back in December of 2018. This morning, before Judge Jonathan Kwan, Pangilinan entered a deferred plea agreement. It was stated during court that the victim and mother of the victim agreed to the plea. The victim's mother was present for the hearing and walked out of the courtroom in tears, declining to make a comment. Pangilinan also declined to comment. He will serve a 1-year supervised probation period. Was ordered to stay away from the victim and her family and to pay a $500 fine. As well, Pangilinan must pay full restitution, although none has been filed at this time. Well, the situation is as murky as the pool water. An oversight hearing has been scheduled with the Department of Parks and Recreation to address the longstanding issues at the Agana pool. Joe Nagancharfris has more right now.
Senator Regine Bisco-Lee is looking forward to an upcoming oversight hearing with Department of Parks and Recreation about the Agana pool. As a parent of a competitive swimmer, it's an issue that hits close to home.
It is just such a sad reflection of, again, poor management, just a lack of maintenance, and we just haven't been keeping up with it. This will give us an opportunity to really hear from a lot of the stakeholders, the coaches, the swimmers, other people. You know, everybody uses the pool, Joan. Mm-hmm. Young kids use the pool, our Manumku use the pool, individuals with disabilities, use the pool. It's a community pool.
Oversight Chair Senator Kelly Marsh Taisano has scheduled the hearing with DPR for Friday, February 7th at 5:15 p.m. It was on Monday when Speaker Tina Munoz-Barnes fired off a letter to Marsh Taisano requesting an oversight hearing after receiving a complaint from parent Jennifer Camacho, whose 2 sons got sick after swimming in the pool. Camacho stated in her letter, quote, "The moment a pool begins turning green, something is wrong and should be a red flag for public officials who we place our trust in to take care of our public parks and recreational facilities," end quote. Chris Dueñas of the Guam Swimming Federation says he's seen firsthand 3 of his swimmers jump into the pool right in front of him, and he couldn't even see them.
Parks and Rec takes care of a lot of other entities apart from the pool, but the number one priority should be this pool because of the amount of people that use this pool. And if this was an underlying concern, such as the pumps and the filters, then this is something that should have been addressed since the change of administration. This is something that should have been addressed first and foremost. We knew it was a huge problem, and we just got to stop putting band-aids on big problems like this.
Recently, DPR Director Rich Ibanez and Ron Su of Canton Construction held a meeting with stakeholders to address issues with the pool and the need for a new filtration system. Senator Lee, Dueñas, and fellow GSF member Ed Ching were in attendance.
You're saying, the pool is clean, it's okay. Yeah, you want to go swimming in? Why don't you jump in the water? Go ahead. Come on. Sometimes that pool has been so dirty. I can stand on the edge. One time I did. I told one of my swimmers, go to the bottom, lay on the bottom. He was on the bottom of the pool, laying down. I couldn't see him. How dangerous is that? You know how many people, how many kids later got sick? With throat problems, nose problems, ear problems.
Senator Lee wants to hear what DPR has to say about the pool's history of maintenance, lack of maintenance, and what is the plan moving forward to ensure the health and safety of those who utilize the pool.
How long has this situation been going on? How long have we been allowing the pool to operate at 80, 50, 25% capacity with these pumps that they've been describing to us? Are we paying this contractor when the pool is shut down? I mean, there's so many questions that we have, and a lot of what we've been given are not answers, they've been excuses.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Jonagan Charfris.
KUAM has learned the chief of the National Guard Bureau will be on island tomorrow, but details on the visit are few and far between. Now, multiple sources with the Guam National Guard confirmed the visit of General Joseph Lengyel to Guam. Lengyel is an Air Force officer who has overseen the Guard Bureau since 2016. As you may recall, Governor Lulian Guerrero had written Lengyel last year asking him to federally recognize Adjutant General Esther Agagi's state promotion to colonel. Lengyel responded, but when Adelup released the general's response, it was heavily redacted, as you see. Adelup said it was because the letter dealt with personnel issues. KUAM tried to obtain an unredacted copy of Lengyel's letter from the National Guard Bureau. However, we were told by the Bureau that our request would be met by August of 2022 or sooner. Guam Guard PIO Major Josephine Blas tells KUAM she, quote, cannot comment on the general's visit, and when we asked why, she said, quote, that was our guidance. Meanwhile, Department of Military Affairs Quartermaster Laura Lee Crisostomo tells KUAM the Guard is preparing for a high-level VIP visit. Sources tell KUAM General Lengyel is slated to meet with the governor tomorrow morning, but Adelup did not confirm this. The general is also expected to visit the THAAD missile defense site on Andersen Air Force Base. Well, the legal challenge will go forward against a law that requires insurance companies to include all local hospitals in their network coverage for the GovGuam healthcare contract. Local provider Take Care Insurance has argued that the law is unconstitutional. Now, in a decision Monday, District Court Magistrate Judge Joaquin Manabusen found that the question remains whether Guam Public Law 35-2 is an improper delegation of authority or not. The judge goes on, this is a factual issue that needs to be determined at trial. The court says the issue is whether there's a violation of the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. Manabusen ordered a scheduling conference for February 25th. Well, this afternoon at around 2:07 p.m., units from the Tamuning Fire Station responded to Ipao Beach Park for a reported drowning. According to Guam Fire spokesman Kevin Riley, an adult male, age unknown, was pulled from the water by a Park Patrol officer. CPR was conducted at the scene, and while en route to GMH, the condition of the male is unknown at this time. Well, stick around for more news here on Primetime.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now. Green Energy Solutions Inc. would like to congratulate GU Self Storage along with Calvo Enterprises in doing their part by going green with a monthly power reduction by over 80%. Power consumption before installation was 39,700 kilowatt hours. After installation ended in 6,221 kilowatt hours, which resulted in savings over $10,000 a month. GESI also offers LED lights, solar thermal VRF air conditioning, and solar photovoltaics. Visit our website and let us help you save.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. New year, new pay adjustments. Homeland Security Advisor Tim Uggan signing off on $21,000 in raises for 2 employees. Here's more. Governor's Homeland Security Advisor Tim Uggan signing off on 2 pay adjustments for 2 Homeland Security employees totaling $21,000 in raises. Documents KUAM obtained by way of Freedom of Information Act requests from the Department of Administration and the Bureau of Budget Management and Research show Uggan requested pay adjustments for the 2 staffers in late November. Those raises fast-tracked and processed by DOA in the second week of December. Siriaco Chuck Sanchez Jr. saw the biggest pay adjustment with a $15,000 raise. His pay going from $40,000 to $55,000 a year. Sanchez is a former Democrat mayoral candidate for the village of Delegate. He lost to incumbent Mayor Melissa Savares in the 2016 election. Homeland Security Administrative Assistant Jennifer Barcinas got a $6,400 raise. Her annual pay now $37,440 a year. KUAM asked for a comment from Uggan, but we were told he was traveling. Meanwhile, Civil Defense Administrator Charles Esteves said in a statement that Sanchez and Barcinas were given pay adjustments because they are handling 3 open disasters instead of 2. He adds the pair may soon be working on 4 open disasters if FEMA approves Civil Defense's request to establish the Typhoon Wu-Tip Public Assistance Fund. Their workload increased, Esteves explained, as they were only handling typhoons Howlong and Dolphin before. Quote, their time and associated pay is split between 3 to 4 sources of grant funding due to the division of labor and inability to mingle accounts, Esteves explained. Finally, all personnel costs are monitored, reported, and subject to FEMA approval. KUAM has reported on nearly $40,000 in pay adjustments given to Adelup staffers and $17,000 in raises given to DPW staff. The pay raises we have reported on were all given to unclassified political hires. In other news, day 2 of the January legislative session saw discussion on a pair of bills relating to criminal justice issues. Senator Therese Terlahi's measure would standardize risk assessment and treatment procedures for sex offenders. It finds that there's a need to repeat criminal sexual conduct is a major problem in Guam, and that psychological and physiological testing, among other things, are important for treatment and rehabilitation. Also discussed today was a bill by Senator Jose Pito Terlahi to reestablish an inmate commissary at the Corrections Department. 50% of the net proceeds will go toward enhancing inmate welfare. The remaining funds can be used at the discretion of the director. Terlahi says the commissary will decrease prison contraband smuggling. A large number of DOC staff and prisoners were convicted recently of smuggling contraband, including ice, into the facility. Evaluation time for the Port Authority management as the Port Board meets to evaluate General Manager Roy Respicio and Deputy GM Dominic Munia. Respicio tells KUAM he feels positive about his evaluation because, quote, "we got a lot done last year," end quote. Respicio adds the board was also slated to discuss petitions from the Public Utilities Commission and updates on the port's modernization projects. In celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Elected Governor Act, senators held a special resolution signing ceremony today. Main sponsor, Senator Mary Camacho Torres, who is also the daughter of Guam's first elected governor, the late Carlos G. Camacho, invited members of her father's cabinet to recognize them for their roles in the first elected local government.
Many good things happened then. And I think what I'm most proud of is, while I may get chastised for always going between the aisles in the political parties, perhaps I really am Carlos Camacho's daughter. Because in those early days, the Republicans were only 10% of Guam. So his cabinet wasn't Republicans. It wasn't party loyalty or party leadership. It was people-driven. And it was principle-driven. So Sidus Maasi to all of you who really set the standard.
Governor Carlos Camacho and Lieutenant Governor Kurt Moylan were elected by popular vote in November 1970 and sworn into office in January of 1971. KUAM's Adriana Cotero visits another public school that is speaking out against much-needed building repairs that have become a safety hazard for students. Here's more from the home of the Dolphins, Juan M. Guerrero Elementary School right here in Harmon.
This is our 7th year in this school, and for the past 7 years, everything has been in need of repair.
For years, Juan M. Guerrero Elementary School's building has needed repairs, says Parent-Teacher Organization President Del Ivasco. And the top priority is to reconstruct all the awnings throughout the school.
When the children and the teachers and staff walk through the areas that need repair, especially if it's raining really hard, it's like a waterfall.
Students often slip and fall and get drenched on their way to class. And the #1 concern?
All the wood that is falling down, we don't want it ending up on the children.
Do the island leaders or government at all know about these issues here?
Yes, they do.
And have they made any waves or steps up to help make a difference?
Not in the past year and a half that I've been PTO president.
But you have voiced the concern and the need.
I've had Senator Nelson come out here. I've spoken to DOE superintendent, and I've had maintenance do an estimate for me.
Ivasco says officials are aware, but as a result of nothing being done, the school is taking matters into their own hands. These Dolphins are fundraising for the repairs.
We so far have been doing raffles, a coin drive with the students. Every quarter, the classroom with the highest, or the grade level with the highest amount, wins a pizza party. So they've been pretty good about that. We're raising the funds, but with the amount that we have, it might not be enough. So with what we've got, we're going to just do what we can.
Thus far, they have raised about $2,600. However, they need about $4,000 for materials to complete the project in totality. Juan M. Guerrero Elementary School Principal Rose Castro commends Ivasco for taking action.
I think it's great because it means we all pull together for our students, and in a positive way, because you can complain, but until you have some action, then it's still a complaint.
This weekend, parents will be reconstructing the awnings and tin roofs. If you want to volunteer or donate to the repairs, contact Ivasco at 688-0446. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
All right, go Niners. Saying that because Dave Delgado's up next with sports. Keep it here.
Agent Alpha. What's that? An Alpha Insurance customer needs a claim settled immediately? I'm on it. Agent Alpha.
event of an accident, theft, or breakdown, each of our Alpha Insure agents are trained to go above and beyond.
This is my stop. There she is. Target acquired. Agent Alpha.
Yes!
Shell's Million Miles giveaway is back, and we're giving 100,000 United Mileage Plus miles to 10 lucky winners. You can jet off to Japan, break away to LA, or even sightsee in Paris. So, how do you make a getaway? Just use your Lucky 7 card when you fuel up with 7 gallons or more, and you're automatically entered to win. Fuel up at your nearest Shell station today and start planning your new adventure. No purchase necessary. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. We get the show started tonight with some fitness news on the InBody Challenge hosted by Health City. Check it out. Health City's InBody Challenge exceeded expectation with over 100 people registered for the fitness challenge. The Health City team is shifting away from weight loss on what you see on a scale and focused more on body composition and creating long-term goals with their clients.
We had everybody's first initial scan, and it turned out to be a pretty good result. A lot of people have joined. We have over 100, so I think we have a total of 110 people that decided. So we actually doubled up our expectation. Our target goal was 50, and so we have people from 18 to 65 years old that joined. The whole goal is to get them away from just focusing on what they see on the scale, so they get to actually see what their whole body's made out of. So a lot of them were pretty shocked of how much muscle they actually have, and especially a lot of the athletes were amazed to see some imbalances that they have in their muscles.
For the next 12 weeks, those involved with the program will have access to a network of fitness knowledge and workshops. Check out Health City Monday through Friday from 10 in the morning to 9 p.m. and on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for all your supplement needs.
So we're also going to be having a WhatsApp support group where we're going to help you guys, basically give you guys some guidelines for if anybody has any questions in terms of dieting, even how to set up their own macros. We're definitely going to have these WhatsApp support groups and nutritional guidelines to give you guys so that when you guys approach your diet, you guys have some guidelines to do that. Talking about how to set up their own meal plans, also maybe habit programs so that they can stay on track during the whole InBody Challenge so that they can stay on point with their goals. For people who haven't participated in the InBody Challenge, we do also have special rates that you guys can actually take advantage of, so that if you guys want to see where you're at, where your body composition is at, we do provide these rates so that you guys can actually see your overall body composition.
The Guam Basketball Confederation introduced Bank of Guam as its title sponsor for 2020, including naming of the Bank of Guam men's national basketball team. Tickets are on sale for the Bank of Guam men's national basketball team's first home game of the Asia Cup qualifiers versus New Zealand. The game is scheduled for 5 p.m. on Sunday, February 23rd at the UOG Cowell Fieldhouse. Tickets are available at all Foodies outlets and online at ctickets.us/GBC2020 for $20 in advance. Coming off their second Pacific Games gold medal in a row, Guam is now ranked 73 in the world and number 12 in Asia. Team Guam qualified for the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, going undefeated in the Asia Cup pre-qualifiers held in Thailand. Guam will compete in Group C with basketball powers, including Australia, number 3 in the world and number 1 in Asia, New Zealand, number 24 in the world and number 3 in Asia, and Hong Kong. The top 2 teams in the group automatically advance to the FIBA Asia Cup. The Napa Rovers FC moved into second place in the Budweiser Soccer League Premier Division following a 5-1 win over Lots of Art Tattoo Heat in Week 9 action at the Guam Football Association National Training Center. Rovers top scorer Devin Mendiola led his team with 3 goals. Manhoban Lalahi leapfrog Quality Distributors to 4th place in the league following a 5-1 match between the two teams. Andrew Stenson contributed with a hat trick in Manhoban Lalahi's win. Guam Shipyard defeated the Sidekicks SC 3-1 with all 3 goals from Ashton Serber. Bank of Guam Strikers blanked the University of Guam Tritons 9-0 with Marcus Lopez leading the winning team's goal haul with 4 on the night.
Attention Guam business owners. Green Energy Solutions would like to help you save on your power bill. We supply various LED lighting, energy efficient air conditioners, solar thermal VRF systems, and solar panels. You can count on our product warranty and quick turnaround and immediate response service. GESI has saved other local businesses over 80% off their power. Call us to see how much we can save your business. Call us today at 647-8111 or visit gesiguam.com for more information.
Rananim, ite Senator Clint Rogel. Soon the 2020 Census of Guam teams will be visiting your homes. Let's all help them collect the information they need to create more jobs, better education, and accessible health care for our clans, our families, and our fellow Micronesians. Ini kitchon wesen nonomlon kwam eupung pue sipue pal fitele makalong lonai maken iteyen chochon aramas. Together we can lift each other up and help shape a better future for all. Kiniso Chapur.
What is Whole Home Wi-Fi? Whole Home Wi-Fi spreads Wi-Fi across your entire home. Pods plug straight into the wall. No messy cables. They spread the internet from your modem to every corner of your home at full speed. Whole Home Wi-Fi doesn't just make your Wi-Fi faster. It intelligently adapts to your environment and manages your Wi-Fi 24/7 based on insight like the number and types of devices connected to your home. Whole Home Wi-Fi, powered by Plume. Learn more at docomopacific.com.
And before we close out the news tonight, you know the deal. It's our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
All right, everybody, on January 28th, we say half a day and happy birthday to John and Carmelita Gogui, both of them. Happy birthday, blessings, love your friends and family, says the shout-out, but then they also add it with a big, bright red emoji heart. And that means it's 100% legit. So your friends love you, your family loves you, and we here at KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery wish both of you had the very best birthday ever.
Remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online at KUAM.com, but please make sure to include with your photo your name and birthday. Well, that's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Green Energy Solutions, Inc. Visit gesiguam.com or call 647-8111 for more details on how we can help your business save money. Health, Home, and Lifestyle. Presented by Paradise Fitness Center, changing lives since 1996.
Have a day, everybody. I'm Jason Salas. Thanks so much for streaming us or tuning in on KUAM TV, because Nurse Jen Artero is up first with her installment of Health Check, and she's got really important news that you need to know.
Health Check with Nurse Jen is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Half a day, Guahusi Nurse Jen. Coronavirus is a never-before-seen virus. It has already infected almost over 1,000 people and killed approximately 40 people, with confirmed cases in China, Europe, Australia, and now the United States. Good news for us, public health has determined that Guam is at a low risk because there are no direct flights to Wuhan City in China at this time. Despite a growing number of cases, the World Health Organization says it's still too early to declare a public health emergency of international concern. Medical scientists have yet to fully understand the destructive potential of this new virus known as coronavirus. But what they do know is that this virus highly suggests that human-to-human transmission is likely. However, the scientists have determined that the genetic code of the coronavirus has around 70% similarity to the SARS virus. Understanding the genetic code helps the researchers in two ways. First, it allows them to create testing methods, and second, it gives them the ability to create a vaccine or treatment. Typically, this virus is found in animals ranging from livestock to household pets like your cat or even a bat. When the virus makes the jump onto the human body, it will initially cause the person to start running a fever, followed by respiratory symptoms such as coughing and shortness of breath. As the disease progresses, patients may also come down with pneumonia. Once pneumonia kicks in, the lungs become inflamed and causes them to fill up with fluid. According to the World Health Organization Emergency Program, there is no defined therapeutic treatment at this time. They say the primary objective when treating a client with coronavirus is to give adequate supportive care, particularly in terms of respiratory support and multi-organ support. I'm registered nurse Jen, reminding you, don't wreck yourself, health check yourself.
Health Check with Nurse Jen is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Stay tuned, there's more after this.
At Island Cancer Center, we treat our patients and their families like our family. We have all been touched by cancer, and it is important to feel comfortable and secure under the care of our health professionals. You can count on us for skilled cancer specialists, the most advanced cancer-fighting technology on the island, and a commitment to caring for you or your loved one with compassion, respect, and empathy. Our family, treating your family.
Island Cancer Center, located on Guam Medical Plaza. Visit us at islandcancercenter.com or call 646-3363.
Morning, 2 coffees and 4 orders of those new donut sticks.
You must really love these donut sticks.
I do, but they're not for me. They're for them. I will take a coffee, though.
Introducing new cinnamon sugar donut sticks from McCafe, made fresh every morning. It's a little sweet to go with your coffee.
Good day, everybody. Welcome back to KUAM News Extra. I'm still Jason Salas, and the Lions Club of Guam is an organization that is dedicated to community service. It's about proud Guamanians making sure that the rest of us have a wonderful island that we can be proud of, that's safe, that's healthy, and that is the major concern we're talking with today, because to take care of others, we have to take care of ourselves. So our friends at the Lions Club are having a health fair, and I have 3 wonderful, lovely local ladies on the KUAM couch here. We have Lions, and they have brought those wonderful vests, which come off so good in the lights here in the Harmon Studios. Of course, Michelle Hope Taitano. Hafa Michelle. Way over there. You seem like you're in Tamuning.
But I'm here.
Okay, and of course we have Feli Angel, the current president of the Lions.
The governor.
Oh, governor.
District governor.
Madam Governor, that's right. And
hi.
And
hi,
then
Jason.
The incoming new leader to be. Very nice to finally have you here. Sumie Kuba.
Yes.
Hafa day. Thank you for being here.
Konnichiwa. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Dozo. Thank you very much. So I'm curious about the health fair because so many go on. Each one has its own theme. You know, each one is distinct. Michelle, let's start with you. Like, how is this health fair structured, and what are you focusing on?
So it's an annual health fair for the District 204, and this year our theme is Healthy Body, Healthy Mind, and we like to talk about health preventive things, and this year we have a couple of new things that we're doing in addition to all the other traditional services that Lions as the clubs, and then our partners. We have partners, Department of Public Health and Social Services, Mountain Pacific, of course the Doctor's Clinic, a lot of partners and Micronesian brokers, just to name a few. And we all bring about our information and current information. We really try to bring it current We have the shots will be given. This year, the shots, flu vaccines will be given to adults and children. And then we also have MMR, that's measles, mumps, and rubella. And those will be available for both adults and children as well. So Department of Public Health and Social Services will be administering that. And so that's generally, that's what we provide that service. That's a staple of our health fair. But then this year we're also going to be talking about preventive, especially preventive self-care management with diabetes. So while we're having the health fair at the center court, we have a room. Thank you, Micronesia Mall. They allowed us to have a room down about 4 doors down from us, and we're going to be running ongoing workshops about self-care, chronic health, health care, as well as diabetes health care.
Very nice.
Yes, and also this year in that same room we're having the children's hearing. This is the first time CEDARS, the early
Interesting.
intervention.
Yeah, I've never seen one of those at a public wellness fair. Very nice.
Yeah, so yeah, they were able to do it, and we got the room, and so we're gonna have that available for the kids 0 to 6. That's specifically for that for them. So we're having that there, and this year too, we're also gonna talk about the Lions District / Tonota Lions Club, where we've gotten a grant together, and we are having a mobile health screening van vehicle, and we're procuring that. We're in the process of that, and so we'd like to introduce that as well to our health fair participants, and of course whoever walks in, come on and shop at the Micronesia Mall.
I was going to say, Philly, because this is at the mall, that's a perfect venue to have it. Because
we've been having it at the mall.
Because the target audience is so broad. You're dealing with like young children, as you said, probably people up into the age of the manumko or elderly, and all points in between. So how many volunteers do you have from the various Lions clubs coming out? Because many hands make light work, certainly.
Well, a lot of the Lions clubs that we have in the district, particularly Region 1, will be there to help in administering some of these services that these public as well as private agencies or entities have volunteered to do in this health fair 2020.
Very nice.
So we are very appreciative of such a benevolent gesture that they are affording us.
That's a perfect word, because Sumi, I'm sure as the incoming leader of the Lions, a lot of people are going to be inspired by this, people that are participants, or they come there because they want their child's hearing tested, or they just want general screening, and they go there and they're like, wow, you guys are so upbeat, you're so positive. I'm really inspired by what you do. I would like to be part of that. So can people inquire and possibly join one of the clubs?
Yes, that would be great. Yes.
Yeah, and how can they do so? And how many members do the clubs have right now?
We have
721
plus.
Yes,
wow.
721.
Yes.
How many clubs throughout the island is that?
We have 24 clubs right now.
Okay.
On the island, 17.
How do I know what club best fits me? Is it is it a village thing, a regional thing?
It could be a village thing. We have a title like Agat Guamelica, but we don't really live in Agat anymore. And the Tamuning Star. So, but also each club has particular service that they are focusing on. So some of them are focusing on diabetics, some of them are cancer
awareness.
Yes, so there are different different clubs that are focusing on different. And we are growing, and we are interested to have more members to come in and then make new club or branch club or specialty club.
So even if a bunch of people they go there and they're like, that sounds like something that my friends and I would love to do.
Exactly.
We all grew up together. We have a passion for community service. Please just get us started with the framework on how we can help.
Let us know how. And
actually, Jason, we're forming 4 specialty clubs. We're having a group of bankers, group of educators, a group of entrepreneurs, doctors and nurses, and we have one that is made up of relatives. They're they all relate to each other.
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret, ladies. We're probably going to have like a 5th group that's going to be started. Guam broadcasters are going to start. I'm going to call some of my friends at the other places.
We'll be in touch with you.
Okay. So can we get the time and the day once more, please?
Yes, it will be this Saturday
So February 1st, Saturday, and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
All right. Well, Madam Secretary, Madam Governor, and Madam Governor, thank you so much for your time. Hajimemashite.
Hi. It's not hajimemashite. It's not the first time I meet you.
Oh, okay. Well, a pleasure nonetheless. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank all of you for it.
Yes.
Very much.
And I would like to take this opportunity also, Jason, if you may, to thank all the volunteers, as I told you a while ago, both from the public and private sectors, because they were there. They will be there, and they have been there actually through all these years.
Because once a lion, always a lion.
Right.
The work never ends.
And all the Lions clubs, and particularly the district officers, because they've been working so diligently on this to make it happen.
And that is the perfect point to end on, because we got to go to commercial break.
National Office Supply, Milieu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you. We'll be right after this.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
We are Guam, but what does it mean? The shape, symbolic of the proa's strength and innovation. It's the foundation of our character, our collective smile and open arms. The layers, representing values of the Chamorro. Respeto Zan Inapamalik, echoing through generations to come. This is the Guam brand. We are Guam.
It is Tuesday, so that means Melvin Wampat Borja with the Commission on Decolonization visit us today. He talked with Chris Barnett about varying issues the island faces.
Yeah, so I think when we talk about citizenship, the first thing we got to do is understand what are the realities of our current citizenship. Yes, we are U.S. citizens, but I think that we also have to figure out, okay, what is citizenship, right? Citizenship is about membership, it's about rights, and it's about participation. I mean, just in a nutshell, that's the realm of it, right? Now, if we think about our citizenship, we have in some ways membership, we have some rights, and we have clearly less participation.
Right, and I often think, when you grow up and you start to get woke to these kind of things, I was always thinking that we should be U.S. citizens with a little asterisk, because the citizenship that we have is different than the citizenship that, someone in New York State has.
Someone in the continental U.S. or in a member of a state has a different access to rights than we have, and that's there's this term coined statutory citizen versus a constitutional citizen. And so being a citizen of the United States, what it does is it gives you the full protection of the Constitution. Right now, we understand our political status and how it impacts our citizenship here. Even though we are U.S. citizens, we were given our U.S. citizenship differently than other U.S. citizens in the continental U.S. and the states. Right? They are what they call constitutional citizens, which means that their citizenship is rooted from the 14th Amendment. Right? And so there's
from the source.
Right, from the source. Whereas our citizenship was granted by Congress through statute, through the Organic Act of Guam. And so, and that's different, it's very different. And I think, part of it obviously is one of the things that I think more people know about is that, because we are a territory, the territorial clause says that we will only be applied certain rights under the Constitution, certain protections under the Constitution.
I mean, can you imagine that a Constitution that would read like, you would be given certain inalienable rights and freedoms, but just a few.
And I think that's the big thing, right? Is that we're seeing that there's a clear difference between a member of the Union, right, a member of the United States versus a territory. And so there's this concept of just soli versus just sanguinis. So just soli is the right of the soil, just sanguinis is the right of blood. Right? And so for us, we are extended the right of the soil because we are America's soil, politically, right? And so this is a really interesting concept because what it basically means for us is that it's more so that this place has the right to the citizenship versus the people here. Whereas if the people in California, it's not so much just it's part of it is the soil, but also
no, I mean it is
the
because
people.
if someone from here goes to the States, then you can vote for president, and I see the geography.
Right, and then there's also the real interesting aspect of it where oftentimes U.S. citizens in foreign countries have more rights than U.S. citizens in the territories. And so the right to vote, for example, you can still vote for president if you are a registered voter from California and then you move to Italy.
Right.
If you retain your citizenship, right, and you retain your voting rights. Whereas if you move from California to Guam, in this territory, now you can no longer vote for president. And so in a lot of ways, the citizenship, I think it's ironic that your citizenship gives you more protection, more access to rights in some cases in a foreign country versus in a territory. I think it says a lot about our current status. And I think the other thing that we need to note about this is that our status is our citizenship is very fragile. It's a lot more fragile, I think, than a lot of people imagine. I think a lot of people take for granted that our citizenship is just a guarantee. It's inalienable.
I mean, if they can make it, they can break it.
Right.
And that's basically what they do.
Now, for a regular U.S. citizen in the States, they lose citizenship voluntarily or by committing treason or something, revoking denying their own citizenship or renouncing their own citizenship, by maybe claiming allegiance to another or serving in another country's military, for example. Whereas for us, it doesn't work in the same way. Like we can lose citizenship by having it taken from us. And the interesting thing about it is that it's kind of like it's almost like a coin toss. We never know. Sometimes the court, and it really depends on the federal government, the interpretation of the courts. In some cases, they'll say, these rights are inalienable, and whether you're in the states or in the territories, you should have access to these rights, these protections. And then in other cases, the court rules opposite, that, well, this doesn't apply because you're in the territory. And so it really just depends, and there's no one, it's not just one way or another. It's not black and white.
Right.
And I think that's a thing that we all have to recognize about our citizenship and how it really differs from the citizenship of a member of the union.
Right, and so how do you, that's a hard task to kind of push that narrative, because a lot of people are just under the assumption that, because they said we're citizens, that we're just getting all this stuff. And so in a way, it's almost like you have to kind of dress down what citizenship means on Guam.
Yeah, and I think that, a lot of people, you hear people say this often, right, that people on Guam are second-class citizens. And that's where that term, that perspective comes from, the reality that we do have certain rights and privileges as citizens, but there are other rights, like participation, that are clearly denied from us or clearly withheld from us. And so, for us to understand it in that way, I think the important thing is that, we got to understand the realities of our political relationship. And that's ultimately what determines, what rights we do or don't have. And so, for us, it was the Organic Act of Guam in 1950. For Puerto Rico, it was the Jones-Shafroth Act of 1917. And it's very they're very similar in a lot of ways. The Organic Act, at that time in 1950, it was a blessing for a lot of people because, our people were living in this very
they saw
ambiguous
it as a stability
status.
And a turn of the page.
But it was a double-edged sword. In the same breath, it also legalized the federal land taking, right? Because by making us U.S. citizens, it then opened the door for eminent domain, which allowed the federal government to basically acquire like half the island, right? And its first initial military buildup. And so without that, right, without making us U.S. citizens, that would have been designated a war crime to just outright take land from people of a foreign country, right? Now, and so for in the same breath, we have to recognize that the Organic Act of Guam, fast forward to 2020, is the thing it's lynching us. It's really the thing that has got us all kind of in this really precarious situation. Right. And it really affects our political autonomy. And when we look at the Organic Act of Guam, it was never meant to be a permanent solution. It was really just meant to address citizenship, and then we had to take action to move forward politically. but there's been obstacles along the road, obviously, and I think that now that we're here, I think we can recognize that the answer is not that citizenship doesn't just answer all of these problems, and that it's more than just being a member. We also need participation, and I think that's really the impetus for decolonization.
I know we're talking citizenship, and you're keying in on the participation, but another relevant point is, there's just so many programs that the territories, we just get the short end of the
I'm glad
stick.
that you brought that up.
Veterans affairs. You can just go on and on, right?
Medicaid, Medicare. Yeah.
How many times you hear about some program that the federal government's doing, and does that apply to us, or and it doesn't.
Right. And that's I'm glad that you.
Or
brought
we get
that
it
up.
in some limited half-ass form, right?
Absolutely. And citizenship really is meant to be kind of your ticket in, right? It's meant to be this is how you access these programs. This is what gives you the right to have these programs, to have access to these programs. But it works, but our access is different in the territories versus the states. Medicaid, Medicare is a great example of that, right? In the territories, we operate under a cap.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter what the impact is, what the bill is for us, and a lot of it is not just us, right? Like we absorb the Medicaid, Medicare costs of our neighbors from the freely associated states, right, as part of their compact negotiations.
Please stay tuned.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
We're excited to introduce Cars Plus 2.0 as we celebrate our 20th anniversary. Every moment has led us to push the standards of the automotive experience, from our state-of-the-art facility to world-class products. And now, we're proud to launch Guam's first and only lifetime warranty. Head on down to Cars Plus and ask about our lifetime warranty. We're driven by you and driven to be better.
Shop Guam E-Festival is back with amazing deals. Download the free Shop Guam mobile app on your app store and present the discount code to your favorite Shop Guam vendors. Get access to hundreds of offers, including shopping, dining, and entertainment. Enjoy great deals now until February 10th.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Credit, my friends, is an incredibly important thing, and it's something very, very valuable to have if you are either a buyer or a seller. In fact, it's the only way you can actually do any business on Amazon. That is kind of related to what we're talking about, so Liz and Gina are here fairly in the ballpark, not at all?
No.
Remax Zone, not Amazon.
Not Amazon,
Remax Zone.
Okay, well, you guys will get as big as Amazon, but hopefully we'll like one of these days. But credit does apply when you're talking about, like, there's something called seller credit, as I understand, right, Gina?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's pros and cons to that, and seller credit is a means by which a buyer can ask for funding to help with closing costs. Which is really important. You know, some buyers out there, and we're going to be focusing on buying real estate, residential real estate, right? So this issue with seller credit comes up, and the reason it comes up is closing costs are typically anywhere from 4 to 6% of the amount you're trying to borrow from the bank. So that could be a hefty sum.
Okay, now my nickname was always El Cheapo. Now, and I always try and like find like a good bargain, right? You guys have actually helped me immensely with, you know, my obsession with that. But could I actually make a request for buyer credit in addition to like if I was going to use like first-time home buyer? Can I like stack them, or are they mutually exclusive?
We've got to clarify though that there are costs associated with getting a loan. So the bank will charge you closing costs. So those are associated with you, Jason, getting the loan as the buyer. Now, buyers will ask if they don't have the money. We always tell people, you got to save up because there's fees associated with purchasing property.
Yeah, homes, as we have understood, are not impulse buys.
Exactly. So in some cases, the seller may be willing, it's not a guarantee, to give a credit to help the buyer accomplish their goal in purchasing, but they give a credit towards the closing costs. So it's not a guarantee, it's up to the seller. Now, there's a difference between the seller giving that credit. There are grants available out there. So if a seller gives you credit, then they subtract that from what you're supposed to pull out of your pocket at close of escrow. So again, it's not a guarantee, it's up to the seller. Sometimes the seller will, if they wanted to move a particular piece of property, they might say seller will credit, for example, $5,000 towards the buyer's closing costs.
And this is smart for the seller because they're not devaluing their own property, and it's completely at their prerogative. So this is actually kind of like a slick marketing technique for them.
Well, you were seeing less and less of that.
Exactly.
Because the market's turning. It's turning into a seller's
Okay.
market now. It's a means by which buyers can find a way to help pay or defer their closing costs. So that's why it comes up. And so what Liz mentioned earlier are grants. There are grants out there. So instead of asking the seller for seller credit, because when the market starts to change, sellers are less likely to say okay to that. You know, before we would see people asking for up to 4% because every loan has limitations and guidelines. So it also depends on what kind of loan you're getting. So the best way to do this is to talk to your realtor, let them give you advice, because then we can tell you, hey, listen, this is going to work or this isn't going to work. There's a lot of activity with this particular house. This asking for seller credit isn't going to help. But the thing that I always look at, and this is what I wanted to bring up, when you ask for a seller credit, what you're doing is say, I'm going to use really easy numbers. Let's say I'm buying a house for $200,000, and I say, hey, seller, I'm going to buy it at, I want to offer $205,000 because I want $5,000 back as a seller credit. For me, what I look at is, if I do that, what I'm really doing is I'm asking the seller to give me back money, but I'm really adding that money into my loan. So now what I'm doing is I'm making mortgage payments based on me adding more money into the loan.
Exactly.
So I'm paying that up. I'm paying it over a 30-year period. And yes, you know, sometimes it's the only way you're going to be able to buy your home if you haven't already saved up the closing costs. But the alternative is what Liz mentioned. If there are grants out there, a grant is money that the federal government or the local government has set aside for these first-time home buyer programs, and that grant is given to you. So why add principal to your mortgage payment that you're going to be paying over 30 years?
I see.
But just remember, too, grants.
It's based on funding. As Liz mentioned.
The government, there is a first-time home buyer grant that they will give to cover a buyer's closing costs, and there's some limitations. So that is available, subject to funding. And the other thing that is available also is called the KUAM program, where you, if you wanted to purchase, could apply for a KUAM loan. It's interest-free, and it's loaned to you to cover your closing costs, but again, subject to funding availability.
And some down payment as well. You know, there's all kinds of interesting programs out there that help first-time home buyers. Honestly, when I first bought, when I was in the market to purchase real estate, when my husband and I bought our first property, none of these programs existed. The only thing that was available were 80-20 loans.
So this is very progressive.
Yes, it is. And I say, listen, if you have good credit, you've been employed for 2 years or more, and you're in a good job,
you need
get out there and buy something.
Thank you for saying that, because of course the word credit can be very disambiguated when it comes to like talking about real estate, right? So a credit in the sense that I'm giving you some sort of consideration, some sort of gratuity, as you know, from seller to buyer, but also does my credit have to be picture perfect my credit score,
Well, just remember
my FICA, is to qualify
Right.
for this, because again, it is the seller's
subject-
prerogative.
It's subject to the bank. So the seller may be willing, but if you're unable to get a loan based on your qualifications, and that's why it's best to come see us. We'll route you to a loan officer, and what they'll do is assist you in the process of getting pre-qualified to see what do you qualify for, what is your credit score, will you go past muster in order to purchase that property. Otherwise, you're spinning your wheels. We don't want you to spin your wheels and waste your time. Find the property you like, and then you're disheartened because you can't qualify for that loan.
Okay, and it seems like it's a lot of information and a lot of red tape to go through, but you guys have actually made it like quite
And
easy.
your realtors will guide you.
Saving $5,000 is saving $5,000.
Yeah.
That is no small chunk of change. So thank
Yeah,
you, ladies.
absolutely.
We'll see you next week. And we will see you guys next. Man, I hope you've got as much out of this as I have. This is amazing information. We'll see you next time.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Green Energy Solutions, Inc. Visit GESIGuam.com or call 647-8111 for more details on how we can help your business save money.